Hello there. I hope this is working. This is a completely new thing for me. I've never done a live event before, so hopefully this is gonna work well. We're gonna find out. If you'd like to, you're more than welcome to pop some chats in here. I'm pointing as though you can see my screen and you know exactly where it is that I'm pointing, but, um, we got people saying hello already. We got Connecticut, we've got Denver, Colorado, hello. We've got North Carolina, Michigan. Hello, Michigan, my little neighbor. What's up? Got Cabin Romney representing. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to post about this on Instagram. We're gonna give everybody a chance to just pop in. I'm seeing more and more people come in as we go. Got Ontario. Hello. All right. And Tashi is on their way. They have had a lot of trouble with their internet access literally all day today. And so they're going to pop on in when they have the chance. So we might see them pop in at some point. British Columbia. We are all over the place. We've got, oh goodness, we've got Bay Area and Chicago. Hi, Jody. You're in my neck of the woods. Hello. I am so glad to see all of you here. I am so tickled. I'm so delighted. The interesting thing that I would love to know is I'm sure that a ton of the people who are joining are, in fact, people who are a part of Camp Wooligan. We had a lot of people join for Camp Wool. We had a lot of people in Camp Wooligan this year for the very first year. So if we have to go back, while we're waiting for people to continue on joining, we might as well like go all the way back to where exactly did this start, which was I think maybe back in December, perhaps maybe as late as January. I had just dropped the idea in my Patreon that it was like, I love the idea of a Tour de Fleece, but I've never done it. Like, I'm not that familiar with what exactly a Tour de Fleece does, what it is, etc. And I had asked, I was like, are there any cool teams to join? Like, how does somebody do this? Like, what exactly does it look like? And someone mentioned, I forget who, I need to go back and figure out where exactly the moment of genesis was for this. But someone just mentioned, they were like, if you want to do a Tour de Fleece, just do a Tour de Fleece. Start a team. Just do it. And then thank goodness, Tashi, our truly like, I would say like the intrepid leader of all of this, because they have done so many Tour de Fleece at this point. They have been a part of teams. They were very much, I turned to them and I was just like, if I wanted to do this, how exactly would it even be done? And Tashi was like, maybe you don't do it by yourself. Maybe that's where we start, is you just, maybe you just don't do it by yourself and I'll do it with you, which was a true blessing. And through that process, we just sort of kicked around a million different ideas of what exactly does that look like. When we are doing a Tour de Fleece, do we want to have a theme? Do we want an idea? Like, what is it that we want to do? And this idea of, well, it's summer. We should have a summer camp. That's what it should be. We should have a summer camp, sort of like those mid-century style, sort of northern New York State summer camps, ones that I never knew. I never went to summer camp as a kid, so this is a complete fantasy for me. I have no idea if Tashi ever did it, but if they did, it is news to me. But we wanted to evoke this just feeling of escape, that it's removal for the time that you are participating in Camp Wooligan, for the time that you are just doing your thing, spinning, however you're doing it, whether it be on a drop spindle or a supported spindle, whether it be on an electric wheel or a treadle. The idea being that time was yours, that it existed somehow like outside of time. And so I'm so glad that we had so many folks. Do you realize how like mind blowing it was that we had 320 participants? 320 participants in our first year, which is just bananas. And what tickled me more than anything, I truly think that this is what means the most to me, is there were so many new spinners. I wish I had actual numbers on this. I should like go back and look. But I should have tracked down how many new spinners we had, because when we started this, I said, I want this to be an experience that anyone can step into, that there will be all of these folks that can help these new spinners learn their craft, sort of lower the bar of admission, as it were, sort of make it a little bit easier, a little bit less daunting to get into, because you'll have a whole team of people that if you run into a problem, if you're not having a great time, if you feel like maybe you're just not getting it, there would be someone there to help. And so I know that I saw a lot of that. I saw a ton of new spinners up in the camp. They were learning a ton, they were getting into it, and it really delighted me, because I myself, I am also a new spinner. Like, this is something I am constantly reminded of every time I have to start over. So every time I have to throw out a single, every time I don't get something right or I over twist something, all the time, I know that I am reminded of the fact that I am a new spinner. So I know that I learned a lot this summer as well. And so first and foremost, I just want to thank everybody. And I know that I speak for Tashi as well. Just thank you. Thank you so much for being a part of this, because realistically, y'all were the ones that made this such a magical and fun experience. So thank you for that. I oh Oh, thank you. Did okay. So I'm learning all sorts of new things. I have never streamed before in my life. I hope that I'm doing well. This is something that I had to teach myself, and it's a very interesting experience to be sitting here, and there's all of these comments coming in over here on the side. Which, by all means, please continue to do that. That's fine. You're not distracting me, but I'm trying to like split my attention between the camera and then also the comments at the same time. However, I have just been notified. Thank you, Diddly Squash. Also, fantastic name. 10 out of 10 on that one. But I should be able to see how many in the Discord have beginner elected. Let's just see if I can do this. We're going to do it live. We're doing it live because we can, because it's a live stream. So we're going to figure this out. We got 320 members. I feel like such an old person. I'm literally like looking down my nose at my phone. This is kind of embarrassing. I can't believe that I've actually done this to myself. How long have you been spinning? There we go. No, you know what? I'm just not that smart at this, and I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do this. So we're just gonna, you know what? I'll share those numbers in the Discord later when I figure them out. But, oh, and see, we've got people saying hello. We got new spinners. We've got at least a few in here. Hi, everybody. And this brings me absolute joy. Like, it brings me such pleasure to see you all talking to one another. I think that is the thing that has like blown my mind the most, is the connections that people have made. The fact that you want to stay in connection with one another, that you want this to extend past Camp Wooligan, and that it just becomes something that goes on, which I can tell you, we were saving this information until today to share, and I was going to have Tashi share it because they were the one who set it up, which, like, let's all just take one quick second to give a huge digital round of applause to the extraordinary work that Tashi did on Camp Wooligan's Discord server, because that Discord server is quite possibly one of the most insane things I've ever seen. It's so detailed. It blows my mind. Like, going in and seeing all of the little campfires that people could gather around, the way that everything was themed out, like, it made, for someone like myself who is very not accustomed to Discord in any capacity, I felt that it was easy for anybody to just drop in, understand what the situation was, and just run with it. And so huge round of applause for Tashi's incredible work in that. So we've got people all sorts. We've got people who are spinning right now. Andre, you are chain plying some BFL and silk. Very nice. I was actually knitting with some hand spun BFL and silk last night. So look at that. Synergy. Do people still use that word? I hope not. That feels like a word we should have left at the beginning of the 2000s. But this is what we're going to do today. So what we are going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a roundup. I was I was going to wait until Tashi got here to do what my projects were. We were gonna do just a quick roundup of because we got to see what you all were doing. We got to see, like, full visibility into the projects that you were running. We got to see all of that, which, trust me, Tashi and I were constantly talking about everything that everyone was posting. We could see everything, nothing missed us. We were popping into your cabin chats. We were checking out the forums. We were talking back and forth about just the unbelievable drive that some of the cabins had. I'm not calling anyone out by name, but I am going to say that, like, some of y'all are obviously very competitive. This is clearly a thing for you, which I um I don't personally relate to. I'm not an innately competitive person, but I absolutely love to watch people compete. And watching you all get so into all of the scavenger hunts, all of the yardage, the distance that you were spinning, and just like really driving it forward. It was a delight. Oh, actually, yes. Kelsey, thank you very much for bringing this up. Thank you for bringing this up. The make along. I would love to know if you're planning on participating in the make along, drop a comment if you have any ideas of what you're going to do with it. I forget who brought this up as an idea, but what an extraordinary thing to do that we all spent this summer spending together. We might as well keep in touch to see what everybody's making with it. And so the way that we'll be able to do that is we are going to have a make along. We'll have a hashtag for that that'll be available on Instagram that you can use. But in addition to that, we're also going to create a separate Discord. So the other Discord, sort of like opposite to this, is going to be a little bit less moderated, mostly because Tashi and I just don't have the capacity to continue moderating this into perpetuity. But it's going to be a pared down version of the Camp Wooligan Discord, where folks can stay in touch. They can share what they're working on with their make along, and that will exist sort of as its like sort of side thing, and that'll run. I mean, ideally, I guess until next year, until next Tour de Fleece, at which time we're going to reopen the Discord as it exists now. We'll allow next year's participants to enter in, get sorted into maybe new cabins. Perhaps you'll just get lucky and you'll pull the same straw and you'll end up in the same cabin next year. But we will just we're just going to recycle that Discord, but we're going to put everybody who wants to participate throughout the year, we're going to put them into a separate one that just sort of runs on its own accord. So if you're interested in that, stay in the Discord as it stands now. That is where we're going to announce that. That's where it's going to live. Let's see what are we working on? There's so many things that people are doing. Fiber by nature, you got your dreaming by firelight. That's fantastic. I'm so glad that arrived somewhat. It arrived just now today. That's a little bit late. Well, I'm glad that you got it, and I hope that you enjoy it. Drop a comment. Tell me what base you got that on, because I'd love to see. We've got the Tolsta tank that's being made. Traveler shawl is being knit. I want to know, honestly, I want to know how many people are doing framed. Listen, I said that, and then here we are. Esmeralda, there you are. Making it for the make along, the framed. I knew that was going to be very popular. As soon as I saw Andrea Mowry's new pattern out, the framed, looks like little quilt blocks. I knew that was going to be popular. Emily's working on a night shift, which honestly, perfect timing. Excellent transition, because that is what I spun for. I spun for the night shift, and I put a pretty heavy challenge in front of myself, I'm going to say. Those are the words that I'm going to use. I decided that I was going to spin for the night shift. This was an idea that Tashi and I came up with for, oh goodness, months and months ago. I mean, this was well before I think we even had we were even kicking around the idea of doing a Tour de Fleece. We were just going to do the night shift together, period. I was going to buy the yarn because at that point I wasn't spinning yet. And the concept of spinning 6 full braids in order to make this pattern was absolutely outside of the spectrum of what I was willing to accept as a possibility. But then I got my Daedalus. and things suddenly became a little bit more possible. And so what I set myself out to do was to spin all of the colors that I needed for my night shift. That was, the sort of like co-project that Tashi and I had. Tashi being not only a much more skilled spinner than I am and way more proficient at it, they did not only all of their night shift to spin, but in addition to that, they also spun, I think, a half fleece? I think a half fleece of Romney. I can't remember entirely, but it was at least it was over a pound for sure of Romney that they had prepped and they spun as well, which they're going to use to turn into a cardigan to participate in CC. If you're not familiar, CC over at Stitch Witchcraft. CC is running a year of the cardigan sort of make along that's running the full year of 2024, and so that is what Tashi is spinning for, or spun for rather. But let me check back in. Let's see what the comments are saying. Summer knits. Having to choose between the night shift and the traveler shawl, I think, is a legitimate challenge, honestly, because I guess it just boils down to which one do you want more? You want a little mosaic work, or do you want that all that garter stitch? But either or, I don't feel like you can go wrong when you're dealing with a with your hand spun. Not even kind of. Nicole is out here just trampling me into the ground. Nicole says, I already have a finished object with my Dreaming by Firelight yarn. I'm blown away by that. Congratulations, you must knit like a machine. That's absolutely extraordinary. I've had my Dreaming by Firelight just sitting in this room, just beyond me, and that there we go. In that door right there. I've had my Dreaming by Firelight just sitting there for, well, it feels like weeks. But so congratulations for already having that. But just as a real quick of like what I worked on before we get down to the team totals, I have a whole presentation to show you all about what we did this summer and our final leaderboard. Which cabin took home, I guess it's the yellow. I'm in Olympics mode right now, and so I keep wanting to say took home the gold, but I guess it's actually the yellow jersey, which is kind of gold. So I think that still works in a way. But I finished all 6 of my braids. There they are. I did it. And all of them are pretty consistent. These are all from Hello Yarn. So the exact same dyer who did our Dreaming by Firelight. All of these also came from there. And they're all just like a very, they're just, I guess I should probably pull it over here. There we go. They're just varied different bases is what they are. I wanted it to have not just a variety of colors, but also a variety of textures. And so almost all of them, even though they mostly come from the same breed, they're all different microns of one another. For example, these 3 are all 3 merino, but they all have different micron counts. And so this one here is a 70s micron. That one puts us at about like a 20 or so for that one. This one is called Aster, which I am, anyone who follows me knows I am very much in my green era right now. And that is like caper. It's caper, right? It's not even like olive green. It's like a caper, and it's really beautiful. It's incredibly soft. And the nice thing about it is that sometimes merino can get a little bit too smooth, a little bit too velvety for me. I like yarn. I like wool that has a little bit of a tooth to it. I like something that has a little bit of a texture and a character to it. And so this one at a 20 is still very fine, but it's got a really decent halo to it too. You can almost see it right there around my fingers. Actually, you can see it right here up where the curtain is. So it's got a pretty decent one. This one was a little bit thicker even still. This one is a 23. That one is in hazel, which is a nice little chocolatey green brown. almost like an oak bark color. And these three are sort of the green spectrum. The final one on that is Several Babadukes, which is probably my favorite colorway title of the bunch. And this one is on a super fine merino, and it's just almost like I think the best way I can put it is like a parchment of sorts. I think that that's the way I would describe it. And so that's the green spectrum. When I set up this sort of like palette for my night shift, I wanted it to feel like a really gentle autumnal woodland palette. That was sort of the goal. And so to set a base for that, I have these three that give sort of the brown and the green and the light. So that's that side. And then on the opposite side of that, we get the color. And so this first one is called Hiding Place. This one is on, I have it in my notes. You know what? I lied. This one is on Corriedale. This is the 23 micron merino. So this is the merino. This is Corriedale. So this is 23 micron. And the really interesting thing is in its bat, I didn't think it was going to end up being this sort of like jade teal color. And it's so much more vivid even than what the camera is picking up. But when it's paired up with all of these that are green, the blue sort of softens out and it ends up looking like an evergreen tree. So it's got sort of like a spruce color to it. We're playing a little bit with optical blend here. That was my goal, is that I wanted to take advantage of all of that color theory I spent time learning so that I could actually, I don't know, put it to practical use. But the next two I've got this one, very pumpkiny, very orange. This one is called Hayfield, and this one is also on Corriedale. I feel like I need an entire sweater made out of this, actually. I just feel like that belongs to my skin tone. That's my feeling. And the final one, this is the one that I saved to the very end because it was my favorite color in the lot, and I wanted to make sure that I got to end on a high note. And this is Wine Soaked. And I love this. This is so much prettier than I even thought it would be. I also feel like I need a full sweater of this. I'm in love. And so all of them together, let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can do it. This is going to be difficult, but I believe in myself. I have small hands. If I had like gigantic like basketball player hands or like piano player hands, like this would be great. I don't have those. Here we go. And there's the full palette. So over here we have just sort of like the soft, natural woodland palette with this caper and this sort of like bark color and then the parchment over there. And then over here we've got the colors that will stand on top of them, sort of adding both dimension as well as something just sort of like interesting for the eye to catch. And the goal that I had was, again, this just like sort of jewel tone sunset in the woods autumn palette. That was the, I guess, best way I can put it is that was the sort of fantasy that I was going for. And so this is what I've got. This is it. And I am just tickled. I really am. I'm very happy with that. And I cannot wait to get this into swatching. I was waiting. I feel like I deserve some type of like cookie or maybe perhaps like a treat of some sort because I desperately wanted to immediately cake all of these up so that I could create a swatch to see what exactly the night shift was going to look like. But I decided no. I'm going to be good. I'm going to wait. And I'm going to wait until I have this live stream so that I could show you all of them still with inside their skeined form. Because I don't know about you, but I always just feel that looking at full hanks of wool always looks so much more interesting than just like a cake. I find it very difficult to show off a cake in a way that makes anybody really feel excited about it. So unless it is a baked cake, in which case I am accepting deliveries when we're talking about that treat that I feel that I deserve. So I'm just saying that's an option. So that was my first project. And the second one was I received a package, a gift package from my good friend Melissa over at Melly Knits, which, if you are not familiar with Melly Knits, I know a ton of people who participated in Camp Wooligan, also participated in the Stash Dashers. And if that is the case, first of all, we loved that. Melissa and I talked about this on an almost daily basis, how thrilled we were that there was so much overlap between her, because it was Melissa and I believe Marina. I think that were like co-captains, I believe. But we were just absolutely delighted by how much overlap there was between the Stash Dashers and Camp Wooligan. I feel as though sometime in the future we need to have like a crossover event. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. But I received this amazing care package from Melissa that had a collection of raw wools from a Romney, a Merino, and a Suffolk. Um, it was just like a chunk of each, maybe just like a pound or so of each fleece to kind of get me on my way, to push me into the direction of learning how to scour and sort of break the spell a little bit. Because I don't know about y'all, but I know for me, one of the things that I found really difficult about scouring fleece was it just felt really sort of just like overwhelming. It felt like no matter what I did, I was probably just gonna mess it up, and inevitably, I was just gonna pull out of the water a huge chunk of felted wool, and that was gonna be the end of it. That was what I was anticipating. Um, so Melissa sent me a pound or so of each, the Romney, the Merino, and the Suffolk, being like, "These are wins. These are wins. It would be so difficult for you to mess these up, truly. Like, just have a good time. I will be here to help you." And bless her. Bless her for doing that, because I, through the process of my Tour de Fleece, actually got to have a fleece in my Tour de Fleece. And I ended up scouring 5 full pounds. I happened to have a little bit of Shetland as well that a friend of mine, Megan over at Kimchi and Co. on Instagram, if you happen to be watching, hello, Megan. But she had sent me a collection of maybe like half or so a fleece of Shetland. And so I got to do all of those as well. And I've got them all just broken out into little bags now. This is the Romney. I've got the Romney in here, which you can kind of see. Look at that crimp. Look at that. I call those forbidden French fries, is what I call them, because they look like crinkle cut fries and I just want to bite into them for real. But I've got the Romney over here. I've got my Merino. The Merino is really exciting because it has some color difference in it. Whereas the rest of them are all white, this one has some gray sort of speckled into it. And I think that's going to make for a really lovely heather when this gets carded out. And the final two I've got here, the Suffolk that was sent to me, which I like a down wool, and so I'm very excited about this. Also, Suffolk is very difficult to felt. It's very difficult to felt, and I think I'm going to use some of this as an experiment into dyeing in the wool. I have a whole bunch of natural dyes that I want to use this for, so I think I'm going to do that. And then finally, is that very loud? I hope not. Is this ASMR? There we go. I'm going to get into the ASMR game. I'm going to drop my voice really low, and it's going to be really soft. I'm going to whisper about wool. This is a Shetland from Eureka Farm. I've forgotten where that is. I think it's in Maryland. I have no idea if this is working. Should I be branching out into ASMR for wool? Just let me know. But this is the Shetland, and it has a lot of really fun color difference. I have not cleaned this one fully yet. I haven't gone through and picked through all of the VM yet. You can still see it in there. But the texture is bananas. The texture is going to be so fun. And I love a Shetland. I really, really do. I am interested, for those of you who love to spin and have spun a good number of breeds, what's your favorite? Drop a comment. Tell me what I'm missing out on. Now that I am invested in collecting raw fleeces and washing my own, I'm very excited about this. I can't wait. I really want Colored fleeces, that's my next thing. Grays, browns, charcoals, blacks, like all of that. I want like, don't get me wrong, I think that the white fleeces are great. They're lovely, but at the same time, there's something so beautiful about a fleece that has color difference in it, especially the ones that are multicolored, where there's a section of the fleece that is like white and another one that's black and another section that's gray, and then you can blend them together to create different color palettes. I love that. I love that so much. But that's it. That was my Tour de Fleece, and let me tell you, I'm still tired. I am still exhausted. I was not prepared for how much that was going to take out of my body. For those of you who spun thousands upon thousands of yards of singles, and I see you because I see the trackers, I see the logs, so I know who you are. How on earth have you done it? How did you do it? I cannot do that. Or I can't currently. I can't do it the way that I'm doing it, that's for sure. I found, because I like to do continuous back, that's the way that I like to draw. And so I find that I sort of end up twisting, and this shoulder goes all the way up to my ear, it feels like. And so I feel as though I need, do you remember I don't even know if these types of chairs are even made still, but do you remember the vanity chairs that had a really low like lumbar support back and the whole top of it pivoted? It just is spun, as it were. I feel like that's what I need to spin on, because then I could just turn my body instead of turning like arcing my shoulder and like pulling my elbow up. I feel like if I just pivoted my whole body and let the chair do the business. I need to hit the antique stores and see if I can find one of these. Could you imagine the drama of just some like velvet tufted topped vanity chair just sitting in the middle of my living room next to my Magicraft? That is drama. That's drama. I love that. I'm going to hit the stores and see what I can find. But I bet you all are super excited to see what are the final leaderboards. Let's dive into it. Let's get into it. I feel like I need to text Tazhi and see if their internet is up running again. I'm sure they're absolutely devastated that they're missing this, and I'm so sorry. I wish that Tazhi was here because they did so much work and they were an integral part of this process. I hate that they're not on the call today. Call? You can tell that I've been working too much, that I am sitting here talking to my webcam and I call it a call. Oh my goodness. The brain rot. Hey there. How is it going? All right, let's see what happens. I'm going to find out. But I will send them all, I will send you all of their love. Or I will send them all of your love, and I also send you all of their love. I am speaking on their behalf. So, let's talk about finals. I was very excited to get all of these numbers up and running, and I cannot wait to share them with you. Here we are. Oh, yep, there we go. Perfect. I hope you all can see this well. Again, I'm learning so many things. Learned all about how to set this up, do whatever this is, all of this live streaming. Am I going to become a Twitch streamer? Is that going to be my new thing? Probably not. I don't play enough games. To do that. I would get like 15 minutes into a game and be like, this is exhausting. And I would have to stop. So first and foremost, thank you so much again for coming to Summer at Camp Wooligan. It was a truly magical experience. Like, I had such a good time. It exceeded all expectations that I had, both for myself. I feel like I grew so much as a spinner and as a crafter. I learned so much from the conversations that you all were having. And I don't have the words. I don't have the words to express the gratitude that I have for the fact that you came along, that you had a good time. I loved it. I really did. And thank you so, so much for that. As far as, here we go. Oh, it's loading. We got weekly leaderboards. Let's remember what happened in weeks 1, 2, and then leading up to 3. We're going to have a reveal for the final week. In week number 1, we had Cormo leading the pack with 20,000 yards. Again, you can tell that I'm in like full tilt Olympics mode right now because I have gold, silver, and bronze medals. I understand that is not how the Tour de Fleece works, but like, Go with me on this journey, okay? But we had Cormo leading the pack, 20,000 yards. Truly, absolutely bananas to me. Romney close behind. It was really kind of tight here for the top four. We've got Cormo, Romney, Marino, Jacob, right there in a row. Truly. Romney, we've got 15,000. Marino, 11,000, almost 12. Close enough to call it 12. I'm willing to round up on this one and say that this was 12,000. No one hop into the DMs. No one argue with me. No one fight. I'm just saying that is like a very small amount right up to 12,000. And then Jacob, 10,000. So top four, neck and neck, truly just fighting it out to get there. And then week two, I feel like week one is where you all started taking this seriously and you realized what was at stake. I feel like that's what happened. I feel like week one, everybody was kind of like still filtering in and just like having a good time and bebopping around. And then that leaderboard came out week one. And all of a sudden, some of you all went absolutely bonkers and said, nope, I guess everything else I had planned to do this week has gone out the window because I'm going to spin every single fiber I've got in my home, including my cat's hair. Let's do it. Romney rocketed up to the top of the boards, taking home the yellow jersey, but in my mind at this moment it's the gold medal with 29. Again, we're rounding up. That is close enough to say 30,000 yards. Truly bananas. I still can't get over that. That is just, you remember when I said that some of you are absolute machines and I had visibility into it? This is what I saw the tracker for this. I know what some of you all were doing. Wild. When it comes time for me to need like 10 full braids to be spun for like a large sized cardigan with a nice decent shawl neck on it, I'm going to be calling you. That's what's going to happen because y'all do this very quick. And then right beneath that, we've got Cormo and then Shetland Merino. Shetland really coming up from behind because if we look at week one, Shetland kind of toward the bottom. And then all of a sudden, snap, all the way up to third. Truly insane. That was bonkers. The true like neck and neck of Cormo and Shetland at 22.9 and 22.3. Woo! Almost a tie. And Marino still holding in there at the fourth place. Massive congratulations to all of you. Truly fantastic on those first 2 weeks. Before we get into week 3, I just want to say y'all are great. Every single one of you, everyone who spun, regardless of how much or how little, you are all fantastic. And the mere fact that you showed up, you were authentically yourself, you participated in a way that made you feel the best about yourself at your ability, that is what matters. Maybe that is just me being, again, a non-competitive person, but I just want to be the one to say, it doesn't matter how much you spun, it matters that you had a good time. What is it? What is the phrase? Wanting to win, or winning isn't everything, but wanting to is. Something like that. I don't know. But I'm just very happy for everybody who spun even just a little bit. That's what I'm tickled with. So here we go. Drum roll. Here it comes. Week 3, Romney at the top. Congratulations. 39,000 yards. I hope every single one of you has taken an entire week off. I hope you took literally the last 7 days of your life off after that, because Tazhi and I spoke about that for a good several days following that, because that is absolutely bananas. Like, truly, Chiquita is sponsoring your cabin because that's how banana it is. Dole is sending a sponsorship. All right. Like, I don't have words. It wasn't even close. Here I am. I've been so like congratulatory for how like everyone's just been like neck and neck. Not this time. Blew them out of the water. Shetland coming in second. Congratulations to Shetland. Again, I have to say, from week 1 to week 3, the fact that you went that far, that gets you something. I think that is true. If there was a most improved, I would definitely say that it went to Shetland. I have absolutely no qualifications to make that claim, but I'm going to. That is, I feel it's my right, and I'm going to make that claim. Cormo taking the bronze. Is there a third place jersey for the Tour de Fleece? I don't know. I'm not sure. But if there is, third place jersey going to Cormo with 22.8, and then Marino with 18.4. That's our top 4. However, I am sure that you are wondering, in total, grand total, who were the winners? Because it's one thing to take home the gold or the yellow jersey. Forgive me, again, my brain can only handle one sports event at a time. It's one thing to take home that yellow jersey for the week. It's another thing to do it for the full run of the camp. So with that in mind, we got some cabin totals. Everyone get ready. I'm building up suspense. I'm gonna take a sip of water. Everyone, put your hands together for Cabin Romney. Congratulations, Romney, with 83,996. Again, this is like absolutely close enough that I'm more than happy to just round this up and say 84,000. I am fine with that. I am at peace with that. I have done my work internally. I have spoken with my therapist. I think it's okay that we go ahead and call this 84K. 84,000 yards. Are you sure all of you are real? That you are true, like actual functioning human beings? Because this feels like machinery to me. This feels like mechanics. This doesn't feel real to me. And so I'm not calling shenanigans on it. I am just saying, did you all sleep? Did you at any time just like take a break? I'm not sure. Did you do it in shifts? Was that it? Congratulations, Team Romney. Cabin Cormo coming in hot with the 66.5. We've got Shetland with 55.9. Again, Shetland was truly the underdog story. This was the Mighty Ducks situation, 100%. Merino at 43.2. That is your top 4. I am so tickled. I'm so delighted to share this with you. I love it. Like, and again, to see all of this yardage, like not a single one of these cabins disappointed. Like I'm blown away. Not that you could disappoint me. That's not how that works. But all of you, look at this. Like for even just the bottom of the leaderboard, even just right there with BFL, for it to be 15,000 yards. That's insane. That's an incredible amount to spin. I'm blown away. I really, really am. You all should be so incredibly proud of yourselves for what you did. Like, this is bananas. Well done, everyone. And as just like a roundup to the moment, drum roll for the full cabin totals, because we've got to have these for Camp Wooligan. We, as a camp, as a unit, we spun in total 405,000 yards of wool, of fiber. It doesn't have to just be wool, of fiber. Almost 500,000 yards of fiber were spun in 3 weeks' time with everybody combined. That's insane. That is insane. That's absolutely bananas to me. That is, to put it into context, that is 1.2 million feet. That is 1.2 million feet of spinning. To put it into another layer for you, this is 230 miles of singles. 230 miles, which like, I don't have the words. I don't have the words for it, but luckily this does. That is 964 trips up to the top of the St. Louis Arch and back down again. We can do that round trip 964 times. That means that we can literally take the entirety of our camp up to the top and back down 3 times, and each of us can count our footage on that. That's crazy. That is absolutely wild. To put that into another area, that's a trip from Washington, D.C. to New York City. That's and we would have 3 miles left over. We'd still have 3 miles We'd be fine. We'd be able to, like, I don't know, walk somewhere and get a slice of pizza afterward, and then, I don't know, walk to the park. After we walked from Washington, DC. Y'all. Y'all are absolute machines. Like, that is 3.6 million Snickers bars. I know that that is a unit of measurement that I am very familiar with. This speaks to my interest directly. That is, if you lined them up tip to tip, 3.6 million Snickers bars in singles. Y'all are absolute just machines. Truly machines. You should be very proud of yourselves. You really should. And I just want to say again, thank you. I have absolutely nothing in my heart to say, but thank you for this. Like, I'm without words, and it's not very often that I'm left speechless, but truly the participation, the excitement, the enthusiasm that you all brought to this, it it brought a smile to my face every single time I opened my phone and I opened the Discord. Every time. And that is fully Mandy, same. Mandy says that Snickers are my favorite unit. I absolutely also agree with that. And let me be clear, it's Snickers of all sizes. It could be like a standard one. It can also be like the fun size. It could even be like the little like square ones. The square ones are my favorite. Like I know that people love the fun size, like the little like 2 bites. No, for me, it's definitely the square because I feel like I can just throw that whole thing in my mouth and not feel bad about it. Like, I don't know. People like to they like to talk bad about the fun the little like Halloween size ones, but I'm just gonna say it. That is the perfect size of candy bar for me. If you're out here buying king size candy bars, I just want to ask, what do you do with it? Is it like an all at one time type of situation? Do you get out like a steak knife and chop it up into pieces so that you can enjoy it for a long period of time? What do you do with it? I don't know what I would do with such a thing, but it's the bite size. It is. I agree. Crocheters, first of all, crocheters are awesome. That is correct. And I also agree. Bite size for the win. Hello, Mandy. Again, the PB square ones. We're just gonna take a second. We're just gonna hold on. We're switching back. You're getting full screen for this one. Listen, we have to take just like a little diatribe here. We need to just move away for just a moment because we need to talk about the superiority of the peanut butter Snickers. Because truly, if we want to talk about an improvement to the original, that tiny little square of nutty, chocolatey, delicious joy. Truly. If I walked up to somebody's house and I was still of trick-or-treating age, which like, no, that's not happening. I don't have enough hair. I got way too much gray in my beard and I'm far too tall to show up on someone's doorstep asking for tricks or treats. But let me tell you, if I put out my little pumpkin, if I had my little plastic pumpkin and I said trick or treat and someone just gave me a handful of those tiny little peanut butter squares, the Snickers, that is where it's at. That is absolutely where it's at. If y'all are looking to get me anything for Halloween, I will publish a P.O. box. You're welcome to send me a bag of those. I'm joking. I don't have a P.O. box, but still. Halloween's right around the corner. It's where my brain is at. My partner, Mark, I'm a Christmas person. He is a Halloween person. We're already thinking about Halloween over here. So that's the way it works. But I'm just so delighted. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for participating in our very first year of Camp Wooligan. Oh, that guy who knits asked, do I need to import the PB Snickers from the US? That guy who knits, my question to that is an overwhelming and enthusiastic yes. Absolutely. Without question. Like, I don't like, I'm not actually even entirely certain why you asked. The answer should have been a very obvious yes, in fact. Like, this is, do what you can. Do what you must. And if you are unable to import them, please feel free to reach out to me via direct message on Instagram. I am more than happy to figure out a way to send you a care package because everyone on this planet should enjoy the rhapsodic love that a good peanut butter Snickers can deliver. I do not work for the Mars Corporation. I am not paid by them. This is not a sponsored situation. However, if anyone is watching currently and knows someone who does work for Mars, feel free to have them reach out to me. I am for sale in that capacity. That is true. So listen, I don't want to eat up more time than I feel that I am due in your day, particularly midday on a Sunday. I just wanna say thank you again. Thank you for the time that you spent with us. Thank you for what you gave us this summer, and thank you for what you gave each other. And I know that probably sounds maybe a little bit cliche, but frankly, Tashi and I were just here to sort of guide the ship. Like that, we just wanted, we weren't even here to guide the ship. It was really, oh goodness, were we shepherds? Was that what was happening? We just keeping the flock all in one space? My goodness, look at that. This is just that was it. We were just here to let everybody know how large the field was to run in. And we just wanted you to run and have fun. If you're the type of person that likes to sit in the corner and just kind of be by yourself and look at the beautiful wildflowers that are growing in the field, fantastic. That was great. We have no problem with that. We wanted to encourage that. But if you're the type of person that likes to gather and congregate with the other sheep and you like to just speak to one another, and I don't know, I've spent too little time around actual sheep to know what they do in Congress with each other, but that was great too. We're just so happy that you had a good time and that you were here with us, and that of all the things that you could have done this summer, you chose to come to Camp Wooligan. I can tell you with absolute certainty that we are already planning next year. We already have a theme. It will be different. It will still be summer at Camp Wooligan, but it's going to be something at Camp Wooligan. I'm not going to tell you because that would ruin the surprise for next year, but I can tell you that this is going to happen again. We will be using all of the same structure. We've already started sort of sketching out what the inspiration board for it looks like. New merchandise as far as like new cabin shirts. I will say this is one thing that I did pick up is that bonfire may not be the source for next year. Some people had some issues with it. That's okay. I wanted to tell you thank you for giving me that feedback. I'm looking for a new service, and so not to worry about that. It will be improved for next year. But we've got a new colorway that's coming, and the idea being that every year you'll have the choice to return to Camp Wooligan. And you'll be able to come back, hop into a cabin, sit around the campfire, and spin a little bit longer. I want to thank you for the final time because this meant a million to me. And I know that it did to Tashi too. And I truly do wish, I really wish that Tashi could have been here. This is Comcast's fault. So if you need to like write a complaint to anybody, feel free. I'm sure that it's probably just support@comcast.com. Feel free to send a strongly worded letter. I think that's fine. I don't know if it's actually Comcast, but it just seems like a pretty good guess because it's New York. I'm just going to guess that that's the case. But I know that I speak for Tashi when I say thank you. My name is Christopher. I am Flannel and Pearls, your local neighborhood knitting friend. And in this case, local neighborhood spinning friend. And I'll see you next year.